How dare they? All those billions of pounds a year. Hi, it's me again. Now, I'm rarely surprised when I hear about the BBC and some dodgy money stuff and then money grubbing and all of that. Very rarely surprises me, just because I do this so much. This one did surprise me. I've spoken about this on the channel before, right? BBC centre at Birmingham's Thai food tea factory means council must borrow millions, is their headline, right? If you didn't know, the BBC are developing the old tea factory in Birmingham to become studios for BBC productions. Now, BBC Studios isn't listed anywhere here that I've read so far, but I haven't read it all. So I'll keep that in just in case they do show up. This is license fee payers' money. And the total bill for this I have here. The total cost of redeveloping the Thai food tea factory is £69.3 million. £69.3 million. The BBC is skint, aren't they? What about all these cuts? They're cutting 1,000 hours of new programming. They're cutting jobs here, jobs there, radio's changing here. They are skint. Skint they are. But they got 70 million quid for this. Or have they? Birmingham City Council is set to borrow £14.3 million to fund the development of Digbeth's Thai food tea factory into the new BBC Broadcasting Centre. Another £429,000 will be borrowed to fund the council's related costs for the project, such as consultancy fees and legal advice. Cheeky BBC bastards! When it was £159, the TV license fee, not that long ago, it was about 4 billion quid a year they bought in from licence fee revenue. It's now £169.50. I don't know the full number, but let's guess 5 billion quid a year. I'm sure it's more. I've seen higher numbers banded around. I can't confirm them yet. So let's say 5 billion quid a year is what they get coming in from licence fee payers' money. They can't make that stretch as it is. If I lived in Birmingham and I paid my council tax in Birmingham, I would be fucking raging even more at the BBC than I am living down here in Essex. How dare they? All those billions of pounds a year they have coming in. Over here, they've got BBC Studios making £1 billion profits. And they want Birmingham City Council to chuck up £14.3 million to turn the old tea factory into a BBC Broadcasting Centre. Now, if the council had that kind of money flowing around, why didn't they just turn that into flats or something to help people on low incomes or first-time buyers? Just nice new flats for people to live in. No. £14.3 million spunked off to help the BBC. If I lived in Birmingham, I would be complaining profusely to the council about this. The development is part of a broader plan to revitalise Digbeth by attracting investment. The only investment is mostly coming from Birmingham City Council. Reducing the number of vacant buildings, which the council could have done themselves, as I just said, by turning it into flats, and contribute to antisocial behaviour. Well, you're not going to help antisocial behaviour anywhere where the BBC is, because quite a lot of their behaviour is antisocial. The overall aim is to raise the value of the surrounding premises and improve economic opportunities, enhance productivity and attract high-wage jobs to Digbeth, according to the council report. Whose mate at the BBC is head of the council in Birmingham? Something dodgy's going on there. 14.3 million quid seems unnecessary for that I've just read there. Does it not to you? It sounds dodge to me. It retains business rates, which are expected to grow by an extra 1.5 million a year from 26 expected. So even if that's the case, well, let's for maths' sake, we'll make it easier. Call it $1 million a year from 26. That's how much extra they're going. It's still going to take them over 14 years to recoup that money. Whereas if it was flats, they'd have rents coming in, private rents and, benefits rents. They would still own the building. And people would have somewhere to live. I don't know. I'm not a city planner. Due to the scheme enabling greater investment, this equates to £31.5 million additional income throughout the BBC's lease until, oh, they're only leasing, okay, fair enough, covering the cost of the council's borrowing on behalf of the enterprise zone. Now, this bit coming is the worst bit. This is, I'm annoyed already, right? But this is the bit that massively boils my piss. Boils it completely. It's bubbling over. Ready? The total cost of redeveloping the Taifu tea factory is £69.3 million, with £55 million coming from private investment. I mean, whoever come up with this plan from the BBC, well played. Well played. I mean, I can only tip my hat to you, whoever you are. 69, well, call it 70 million quid new production centre, and you're not having to cough hardly any of it up. It's all coming from elsewhere. I mean, whoever comes up with these things, fair play. You're cleverer than I'll ever be. Scummier, but cleverer. The building will provide the new home for BBC Midlands Today, BBC Radio WM, The Archers, BBC Radio 1's Newsbeat and BBC Asian Network, currently based at the Mailbox, another BBC building. A huge 10-acre plot of underutilised land around Taifu Wharf and the surrounding canal basin will be transformed to provide the media behemoth with 84,000 square feet of offices and studios. An additional 2,780 square foot will be devoted to retail space. How do they get away with it? I mean, they demand, they don't always get it, 500,000 people a year are stopping paying it, but they demand from every household in the UK £169.50. They say they're making cuts to jobs here, cuts to jobs there, cuts to programming here, cuts to radio there, and they can still get away with getting a new premises in Birmingham for basically nout. The BBC is a massive scam, and they're continuing to get away with it because they're supported by friends in high places, i.e. the government. Unbelievable. Speaking last month after the council's planning committee unanimously signed off the scheme, unanimously signed off the scheme. Not one councillor voting in there thought it was a bad idea. Not one. Which shows something. It might very well show that I live in a dream world and I'm the wrong one. I accept that. But I don't think I am. Birmingham is a city of untapped talent, and the BBC's investment will help that talent flourish and grow as we create new jobs and opportunities for our citizens. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Let's have a look at some of the comments. Tell the BBC to start doing adverts and pay for it themselves. There's more important jobs than they do in the council, like road servicing. Can agree more. How many potholes are there in Birmingham? If you drive around Birmingham regularly and you get annoyed by the potholes, that's where the money went, to the BBC. This is why the council keeps putting up the rent and council tax, because they keep wasting money on projects like this. Another good point. How much cheaper could your council tax be in Birmingham if they didn't just give the BBC £14.3 million? The BBC had marvellous facilities at Pebble Mill for years. They spurned them and turned their back on Birmingham. That's a fair point. I'd forgotten about that. What's wrong with that? Oh, I probably won't get any free money for it. Why are the council paying for this? Do not fund the BBC with the Gestapo licence fee. Brum 1875. I like your work, sir. I'll put a link below if you want to go through some of the comments, or maybe leave your own on that. But it is an old article. For some reason, I'm getting loads of old articles come through on my my Google alerts that I have for TV licence. Don't know why, but this one was 24th of April. 23 at that. It came through this morning. Today's Thursday the 5th. You're not going to see this on Thursday the 5th, but today's Thursday the 5th of September 2024. It's like more than a year late, isn't it? Still valid point, though. What do you think about this? Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. While you're down there leaving your comment, hit all the buttons, like button and everything. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. If you have struck it already, just double check it's still there, because some people have been saying they've been getting unsubscribed. And if you do all of that, hopefully I'll get to see you in another video again soon, won't I? Ta-da.